have R3, so recruitment, sorry,
Retention
and reactivation.
There you go.
Sorry, so we have a number of programs that we do with that. So we have programs within BHA. We also support some agency events. So we support some things with Fish and Boat, with Game Commission. So we work on that front. We have a great group of volunteers there. We also focus on habitat and stewardship projects. And then thirdly, we also focus on policy and legislation.
Okay, so first let's focus on the non-political volunteer opportunities, right?
Yeah.
That the stewardship, the habitat. What are some things that you can do, someone can do, the volunteer that BHA puts on in our state?
All right, so we have a couple things. So thinking about habitat and stewardship projects, we have a number of opportunities. One being that's really simple for anybody to get involved in. We are part of the Adopt and Access program with the Fish and Boat Commission. So we have a database and a network of volunteers and also volunteer opportunities to clean up public boat accesses across the state. So we have volunteers that are out there doing that. Last year, State Game Lands, we just did one on State Game Lands 224 in northeastern Pennsylvania, where our volunteers worked with a number of other groups and with the Game Commission and removed about 600.
That's so many.
Yeah, and there's a lot more. There is a lot more. And that's something that we're doing across the state, doing cleanups on all different types of state game lands. In Western Pennsylvania, we're working with the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, doing some projects in the Allegheny National Forest. We have a number of those opportunities that are going to be coming up.
Yeah, I know. One of the things that was done, I can't remember if it was this past spring or last year, doing some cover projects over creeks and streams for trout.
Yep.
And what was amazing to me, seeing that, was how precise someone can drop a tree that it doesn't go all the way into the stream.
Right.
It stays above, and it's exactly where they want it, above that part of the pool. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Someone can do that.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm not your guy for that.
No, I'm not either, but, able to do some other stuff to help out, that kind of thing. So, BHA is sort of really, that's a lot of the good stuff that goes under the radar.
Yeah.
BHA is really known for the political side, right? The legislative action side, and they really cut their teeth. What was it, in 2016 or whenever, with the public lands fight, the sell-off idea that came Utah.
Yep.
What are in Pennsylvania? What are some of the political bills that we should be aware of our legislators about?
Yeah, well, definitely Sunday hunting is a real high priority.
That's only like
right?
the 8th time that it's come up today. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so that's something we really want, and we want to see opportunity to be able to hunt the entire weekend.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we think about it. As we think about it as of now, is we really only have half a weekend of our time to be able to be out and enjoy the wilderness.
Yeah.
Right. But with that being said, what we're really looking for is we're looking for clean bills on Sunday hunting. We want to see legislation pass specific to Sunday hunting without the additional language, specifically what we've seen that's related to the addition of either a seat for agriculture or for language that's specific to a carve-out for agriculture. That's not to say we're not incredibly supportive of agriculture and wildlife, but what we want to see is we want to see our wildlife agency focused 100% on the mission of wildlife management.
Like we talked a little before we started recording, slippery slope deal, right? Okay, you allow a commission seat for agriculture, then next thing you know, you have all kinds of other entities that are saying, well, hey, we would like a seat to help make decisions as well.
Sure. Yeah. Where does it end, right? Like, is it, if it's not agriculture or it's another business interest, right? It's mining, or it's big timber, or whatever it may be. Anti-hunting, which is
right. It could slippery slope. We're watching it happen in real time in the state of Washington.
Absolutely.
We don't necessarily need an agency in Pennsylvania to be not solely focused on doing its job, because there's other entities trying to pull in different directions.
That's exactly right.
So what are those two bills?
Okay, so we have bills moving in two directions, right? So we have House Bill, what was House Bill 2106, 07, and 08 that has language specific to Sunday hunting. There's some other language in there that relates to trespass and things like that, crop damage and things there too, which we're either neutral or supportive of, depending on which parts of those we're talking about. But then so that's on the House side, which is now kind of all under House Bill 2106. Then we have on the Senate side, moving over to the House, we have Senate Bill 67.
Which one does BHAPA support?
Well, on its face, as far as Sunday hunting goes, we're supportive either way.
Right.
It's where we get into those
Amendments, little
those
carve out
amendments and
things.
Yep, and it's that carve out that's where we kind of we pump the brakes on that one.
Okay.
Yep.
What about House Bill 2314?
2314. Okay, yeah. So 2314 is interesting. 2314 kind of came out of nowhere. This was a bill that was introduced that changed funds. So instead of the Game Commission being focused on the mission